Good morning, seekers. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you to my new subscribers, and thank you to those of you who are taking the time and energy today to listen to this reading. We're going to be looking at relationships. We're going to be looking at what the energies of a current relationship that you are invested in are telling you. Remember that this is a timeless reading. It will find you when you are meant to hear it. And it is also a general reading, so not everything will resonate with you. And don't worry if it doesn't, just take from the reading what does resonate. And if nothing does, then this is perhaps not the reading for you. And perhaps you need to consider picking another pile or looking for another reading. So we have the 4 piles. I'm just busy cleansing the cards here. We have earth, air, fire, and water. Take a moment to pick your pile: earth, air, fire, and water. I will put a link in the description box below to the timestamps, and also to a link where you can find out about the crystals that I'm using for each pile. Rhodonite for earth, Aquamarine for air, Cinnabar for fire, and black Kyanite for the water pile. So, pick your pile: earth, air, fire, or water. Let's begin with the earth pile. And this is your stone for today. It's the same as my ring. Beautiful rhodonite. Let's put it over there. Oops. The rose quartz didn't like being pushed out of the way. Right. So we're going to start the shuffling process. I'll just do the tarot cards first, and then we'll go on to the 2 oracle packs. So, please give me, oh, cards are eager. Kindly give me 4 cards on the relationship status for the earth pile. Kindly give me 4 cards for the relationship status for the earth pile. Oops, oh goodness. Right, I think they're almost ready to pick. Please give me 4 cards for the relationship status for the earth pile. So, let's see. This is the energy that you bring to the relationship. Earth pile. This is the energy that you are bringing to the relationship. It is the 5 of Cups. This is the energy that the other person brings to the relationship. The Tower. Whoa, this is quite an intense, getting the shivers. This is quite an intense reading, especially for earth pile. This is the combined energies, and what a shift in energy. It's definitely very strong, intense effect that this relationship is having on you. We'll look into it deeper. And this is the key element to consider overall: the Devil. Very interesting that you have 2 major arcana cards. So, the energy that you bring into the relationship, earth pile, it's almost as if you're entering this relationship expecting it to fail. It doesn't matter whether it is, I do get the feeling that this is a personal relationship. It could be a romantic relationship, but it could also be a family relationship, perhaps a relationship with a sibling, a relationship with a parent. The energy that you're bringing in is that there has been so much hurt and pain and sorrow that that's all you can focus on. You can see the spilt cups. You can see the wine or the blood that has been shed. You can see the sorrowful stance of the figure. It's almost as if you are so afraid of being hurt again that you've just wrapped yourself in this cloak of sadness, this cloak of depression, this cloak that is keeping you invisible and just wrapped in your sorrow. But the important thing to remember is that there are still 2 cups standing. And when a 5 cups appears in a reading, it's always very important to remember that if we take our eyes off what has been lost, we can see that there is still something salvageable in the situation. And that is the energy that you need to embrace. You need to perhaps stop looking at what has been lost, but look at what is still there that you can build on. Look at the connections that are still there. Look at the memories of love that are still there. Look at whatever these 2 cups still standing hold. There is enough there if you just open yourself up and allow yourself to turn away from the sorrow and turn away from the suffering. You can then have a new beginning, building on what is still there and what is still available. And this is the energy that the person or the relationship, in this case I do think it is a person, is bringing. This is the Tower. It is an energy that has destroyed and has the capacity to destroy any ego illusions, any delusions. It forces the ego to crumble, to crack. It's a bolt of lightning from the heavens. It happens suddenly, and the ego crashes to the waves below, and the tower crumbles. But out of those crumbles, out of those bricks that have been smashed to ground and burnt with the purifying fire of a lightning bolt, almost like a divine insight that has come in, the higher self can step forward and create something new. And I get the feeling that this person, that this relationship is causing problems with you, that this person is perhaps, I don't get a malignant feeling from this card. I don't get a purposeful, destructive feeling from this card. I think this person just called it as it was and perhaps didn't realize how cutting and how sharp those words were and how it hurt you. So perhaps there is a need for this person to perhaps learn a little bit more diplomacy and perhaps for a little bit less sensitivity on your side, and perhaps for you to try and have a look at the cups that are still standing and realize that whatever was said, whatever was done, this lightning bolt that destroyed or you felt destroyed your hopes, your dreams, your identity, your personality, however you felt this lightning bolt stripped you to the core and left you hiding away in that cloak of despair, looking at what's been lost, feeling only this deep, deep sorrow. Perhaps the time has come, and I think this card here, the key element, not the key element, this is how the energies together can work. And this is one of the most fruitful, one of the most beneficial, one of the most beautiful of all the cards. It is the 10 of Pentacles. It is that culmination of all the dreams and hopes and hard work. There's no denying that there's going to be hard work bringing these 2 energies together again. But with a little bit of understanding, with a little bit of looking at what is still there, not at what has been lost, there is a chance that, Pentacles always require hard work. So this is not going to happen. It happened, the crash, the hurt, the pain, the anger, the break happened in a lightning bolt flash of a moment. And the rebuilding is going to take time. It takes time to build a comfortable, calm, loving, intergenerational situation. You can see this is the coming together of all the generations. There's the first generation, the middle generation, the younger generation, surrounded by loving pets, surrounded by abundance, under like a threshold made of pentacles. And the pentacles, of course, are earthly rewards. There is the divine sun in the corner shining down, shining the light. It is a bucolic scene of happiness, of togetherness, of stretching across, of a love and a connection stretching across generations. Perhaps this is more parental energy, parental child energy. That the parent thought that they were doing what was right and the child was a bit too sensitive and took it too much to heart. But the way that these energies work together, there is the possibility with hard work on both sides and understanding and compassion and bringing in the wisdom of the ages and the optimism of the youth, there is a way forward to a reconciliation that can result in a long-term abundance between the two. And the key theme to consider is another major arcana card, and it is the Devil card. Now, the Devil, of course, is our shadow side. It is those chains and limitations that we ourselves limit ourselves with. It is almost like an imprisonment of the mind. It could be a belief system. It could be our ego. We could be holding on to our hurt. I mean, what strikes me about these two cards is how trapped inside darkness they both are. This figure here is huddling so into this cloak of darkness and looking down and not looking out, that although there's maybe a glimmer of light, and there's a glimmer of light here, this figure doesn't want to get out. This figure has trapped itself, these two figures have trapped themselves in such darkness that although they are longing for the light, although they are longing for the abundance and for the connection and the intergenerational connection and wisdom and abundance that is a possibility, this pain, this shattering illusion, the illusions that were shattered has caused such damage that they have now, it's almost like they can't put their pride aside, because that is what the devil is all about. It's all about those lower emotions. It's our pride, it's our jealousy, it's our hurt, it's our addictions, it's our self-limiting behavior. And that is an underlying energy here, that unless we can free ourselves from the devil's temptations, if I can put it that way, the temptation to stay stuck in the hurt, the temptation to stay stuck looking at what's been lost and not even trying to rebuild on what is still there. This card can offer a marvelous path to this ultimate success card, this intergenerational happiness, but it does require a close, hard look at what we are doing, what our actions are, what our choices have been, what we could perhaps have done differently. So this is a demanding card. It takes a lot of courage to stare the devil in the face. But beyond the devil is that beautiful, also if you have a look through an archway, and this is through the archway, there is this amazing vista of love and abundance and connection and being connected to family and community and all that that offers, the support, the strength, everything that that offers is there if we can just free ourselves from those shadow aspects that keep us imprisoned in our pain and hurt. So let's have a look at the two oracle cards. I'm just going to do a quick shuffle. Kindly give me a further bit of advice for the Earth card, for the Earth pile. Please let me know what the earth pile can do to move forward from the pain and sorrow in the relationship to a state of abundance. Crystal ball. Oh, interesting. That's nice. So essentially, the advice that has come through from the Witch's Oracle is use your intuition, use your insight, almost look into the situation with a crystal ball. It will help you see clearly the rights and the wrongs from both sides. It will help you see the other person's point of view, that perhaps this lightning bolt was meant with good intentions. The crystal ball will also help you understand your own emotions better. It will help you look at not only what's been lost, but what is still standing. And it will also be able to give you a vision of an abundant and beautiful community that awaits with a little bit of hard work on both sides. So the owl, of course, brings in wisdom and having insight using the crystal ball. 35-8 is the number here. That is the number of manifestation. It is a lucky number. It is a number of abundance. 35-8. It brings in material abundance, which of course ties in with the combined energies of this card. These two cards creating an intergenerational community filled with love and abundance. So that is the Witch's Oracle. Let's have a look at the Oracle of the Seven Energies. Thank you for the piece of advice about using our intuition. Kindly give the earth pile one final piece of advice on how to, oh, goodness me. Whoa. Cards are in a hurry today. Kindly give me one more piece of advice on how the earth pile can move forward in this loving relationship. Deep breath with the lotus. Ooh, I've gone cold. That is a stunning card. Essentially, this happened so fast. It was like a whirlwind. This break, this split, this hurtful situation in this relationship happened so fast that what's needed now is to take a deep breath, to just breathe calmly and deeply, and to go inward and remember that out of the darkest, dirtiest mud, the most beautiful lotus arises. And of course, the pink is the color of the heart chakra. The rhodonite that I chose is all about love. It is pink. And it's unlike rhodochrosite, which is also about love, but just pure pink. This has black. And it is almost the message that I'm getting here is that a love that has been through the fires of hell, a love that has been burnt and comes out the other side, able to build new connections, new community, new abundance, is a more divine love, because it is not a superficial love. It is a love, it is a connection, it is a relationship that has been built on the depths of pain and sorrow, and the opposite of that pain and sorrow is a deep, abiding love that is filled with almost a divine love. You can see the Buddha in the background. And that is what is needed now. Take a deep breath. Look inward. Look at the situation. Use your insight. Use your intuition. Try and acknowledge and accept our own self-limiting behaviors, and look at all sides of the relationship, and from the pain and sorrow that has been overshadowing this deep love that is in this relationship, rebuild a new lotus. Let a new lotus bloom out of the divine breath that will enter your soul when you actually stop, put down your hurt, put down your sorrow, and turn to face the future that contains a promise of such abundance built on the love that is still remaining. And that earth pile is your reading, sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings. I wish you so much love. And I look forward to having you join us in the next reading. Okay, Epa, I had to start you again because a call came through and broke my flow. So, here is your beautiful aquamarine. Let's get back in and draw the cards. I will reshuffle. Kindly give me 4 cards on the relationship status of the Air Pile Collective. 4 cards on the relationship status of the Air Pile Collective. There's the first card. That is the energy that you will be bringing to the relationship. Kindly give me a card on the energy. Oh, thank you very much. That's the energy that the second person brings to the relationship. Kindly give me a card on the combined energies. How will the combined energies play out? Thank you very much. And thank you very much. The key element that overarches the whole relationship. So, Air Pile, let's see what the cards hold for you. Okay, so this is the energy that you are bringing to the relationship. King of Swords. And remember, it could be a romantic relationship, it could be a family relationship, it could be a relationship with a friend or a work employee, or it could actually be a relationship with something, a pet or a job, or an investment in a house, or could be any sort of relationship. So that's you bringing the King of Swords energy. The other person or the other element of this relationship is bringing in the Ace of Swords. Interesting. The reading that I started that I had to stop and redo, the Ace of Swords came up as well. Interesting. So this Ace of Swords is definitely meant for the air pile. And swords, of course, are air. So it's very interesting that the first 2 cards of the air pile reading are both swords. The combined energies, oh, another sword. This is definitely an air pile. The Queen of Swords. This is a beautiful depiction of the Queen of Swords. It's not as sorrowful and as sad as the traditional Rider-Waite, because that, of course, is the card of widowhood. But in this deck, it's a far more positive, calmer energy. So that is the combined energy. It's just so interesting that you've got the King, the Ace, and the Queen of Swords. And the overarching energy is the Wheel of Fortune. I wonder if this is about a project. I wonder if this is not the relationship that you're inquiring about. Isn't your relationship to a project, maybe something like some degree you're studying or thinking of studying, or you've been studying for a long time and you're not moving forward, or some kind of idea that you've got. Are you attached? Are you in some sort of relationship with an idea that you're very attached to? Because it's just like crazy. This is the air pile, and it's all about swords. So the energy that you represent, that you're bringing, is the King of Swords, which is an energy of, in its highest expression, it's an energy of great mental clarity. It is a strong energy. It is a decisive energy. It's an energy that cuts through the clouds of delusions without any hesitation. It stands firm. It can, in its more shadowy side, be a little bit cold. It can be a little bit aloof. It can almost live in an ivory tower, particularly if this relationship that is at play here is not so much an interpersonal relationship, but a relationship with a job or a project or a degree or some sort of studying, some sort of training. So the energy, there is, this almost is at the heart of their powers, the heart of the intellectual powers, because the king, of course, is the senior card in the suite. It is at its most advanced, at its most developed, but it can almost become too much of the intellect. It can lose touch with its emotions. It can be all about intellect, thought, logic, and reason, and cut itself off from its heart. So it is in its highest an extremely clear-seeing, disciplined, strong energy. The relationship, the energy that is being brought to the relationship by the other party, whatever it is, whether it is another person or something else, a project, it is creating a new way of thinking. It is bringing in, it is almost shattering old, rigid thought patterns that have become entrenched as the king stepped into his power. This alternative energy, the other person or the project or the job or whatever the relationship is that you're inquiring about, is bringing in a completely new way of thinking. It is a more divine way. There is the white roses of purity. It is that shining light that is almost like a mirror shining through the logic, and you can see that light is almost catching the edge of the sword and reflecting, clearing this vision, a tunnel of vision through those clouds. So whatever you are in the relationship with and whatever relationship you're inquiring about, there is perhaps a sense of challenge to your belief systems, to the way of thinking, to the way that you reason things out. It is still an energy of the mind. It is still an air energy, this card, but it is new directions. It is taking you down new thought processes, down new paths of inquiry and of discovery. And the two energies combined still result in an intellectual energy, an air energy, but so much softer. The Queen too is at the heart of her. She's the divine feminine in the air suite. She is, so this is almost like combining, so this is almost too masculine. And the air, these new directions that have been brought in are bringing in the air divine feminine. So the thought processes are being softened by the flowers of love, the red roses, the softness. You can see she's more open. If you have a look at this energy, the energy that you brought into the beginning of this relationship, you can see the arms are crossed, the arms are closed. There's very little space for new ways of thinking in this card. But this, whatever this relationship is, has cut through that rigidity and is bringing in new ways of thinking. And the combined energy, the result, the outcome of this relationship is going to be a softer, more delicate, equally clear-sighted, equally clear-viewed, has a lot of clarity of thought, lots of discipline. She is an air sign. She is the Queen of Swords. But you can see the whole card is just a whole lot softer, and she's more open. Although she is holding her sword, the sword of truth, the sword of intellect, the sword of logic and reason, she has opened her heart, and she is reaching out to other people, to other thoughts, to other ideas. And that is the combined energy of this relationship. This is what it is going to bring in to your life. This still the high intellect, the clear vision, the clear-sightedness, but not quite so rigid and enclosed and perhaps cold. And the key element that is overlying this whole relationship is the Wheel of Fortune. And perhaps the Queen of Swords has achieved her wisdom through sorrow. As I said earlier, she is the traditional card of widowhood, which is, of course, a card of loss. So through that loss, it could be loss of beliefs, loss of ideas, loss of this absolute certainty that the King of Swords carries within him. These new ideas that this relationship is bringing, this new pathway of thinking, could perhaps lead to some pain and sorrow, which brings the softening of the wisdom that the Queen brings in. And the underlying energy shows that it's the Wheel of Fortune. We can't always be the king at the top of the heap forever. And sometimes we're up and sometimes we're down. And it is through coming to understand that we can't always control everything. We can't always just look at things through the logical, rational mind, although that is a dominant energy in this air reading. The clear vision, the softer vision that is going to come, that is the result of this relationship, is just part of the cycle of life. And whether you close yourself off and remain rigid and stuck and a completely closed heart, unable to open up and learn from new experiences, new ideas, and end up on the sorrow side of the wheel or on the bright and cheerful side of the wheel, is just part of your karma. It's part of your destiny, because it's the wheel of life. The dice gets thrown and the ball lands where it lands. But at the moment, the ball is landing, luckily, in this beautiful upraised arm of opening up to new experiences. So let us see if there's a little bit more wisdom that we can get from the oracle cards. Let's see if we can expand on these 4 cards about this relationship for the air pile. Kindly give me some advice for the air pile on what new vision and clarity of thought and open-mindedness can come in through this relationship. It could even be a relationship with yourself. There you are. Let's see what this card says. And the bell. Awakening. You are gone cold there. Yes. This is very much, this relationship, whatever it is going to be, it's a karmic thing. It's definitely a karmic thing. You can run, but you can't hide from the path that this relationship is going to take you on. And what is waiting for you along this path is a completely new way of thinking. It is awakening. It is like the bell is ringing to wake you up. It is a warning sign saying, come on, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's not too late. You still have a way to go. The hair, of course, carries us. It's like a psychopomp. It moves us from one world to the other. Perhaps things are going to happen in your life. It will attach us. This is a path that is going to connect the world of logic with the world of intuition. I'm really going cold. And I think this is an important message for you, air power. Intellect and mind is good. It is important, but it is also important to be balanced with intuition and heart. And this relationship that you are in is a karmic relationship that is taking you on a path of great awakening. It is a bell that is saying, come on, let's get going. Let's start this journey. And you are going to be taken into realms that perhaps are quite difficult. If you look at that closed king, it's going to be quite difficult for you to open up to. But the key element to remember is that the combined energies, the ultimate outcome of this journey, is that you will have an enriched intellect. You will have an enriched way of thinking, because it will be enriched by both the other world and the world of the heart. Beautiful message. Beautiful message. And let's have a look at a final message for you, Air Pal. Kindly give us that seems to want to come out. Thank you very much. A burst of magic. Interesting. Pink, of course, is the color of the mind. And what's interesting is look at the blue on the King of Swords. Look at the blue on the Queen of Swords. Blue, of course, is more the color of the mind. It is a pretty cold color. The deep blue is the color of the intellect. I'm just putting that in the wrong spot, sorry. And this is all pink and white. It is the blossoming of the lotus. It is a burst of magic. This journey is going to change. This journey along this relationship, whatever this relationship is going to change your life completely. It is going to bring you a completely new way of being. You are going to rise from the lotus. Notice how the head is covered all in stars. There is going to be a rising from the lotus into a completely new way of thinking. It is going to be a beautiful journey. It is going to be a magical journey, and you are going to experience things that your mind would never have imagined. And what a beautiful way, what a beautiful message to end this reading on. And that, Air Pal, is your reading. A magical reading sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings. I wish you so much love. And I look forward to having you join us in the next reading. Welcome to your reading, fire element. This is the beautiful Cinnabar stone. How gorgeous is that? And let's move the, better not leave it there. Let's leave it there. So, let us shuffle. We'll take your 4 tarot cards first to get an idea of the energies of this relationship that you are inquiring about. Kindly give me 4 cards to show the energies of this relationship for the fire pile. What is the energy that the other party... Oh, goodness. Wow. That's too many cards coming out. Let's put them back in. Shuffle a bit more carefully. What are the energies? Typical fire coming out in a rush. Oh, that one definitely wants to come out. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit Guides. 2 more cards for the fire pile, the combined energy, and the key element to consider, combined energy. Thank you very much. And key elements to consider. Thank you very much. So, fire pile, let's look at your cards. This is the energy that you are bringing. Ooh, this is a challenging card for a fire pile. 8 of Swords. What the other person is bringing. 7 of Wands. Card of conflict. Okay. This is the combined... Ooh. Combined energy Five of Pentacles. Ooh, this relationship isn't great. Key element to consider, Page of Pentacles. Whew. You feel trapped. You feel trapped in this relationship, whatever this relationship is. You feel almost as if there's no way out, that you're totally restricted, as if there is just no movement for you, that you're in a cage, you're blindfolded, so you don't know which way to turn. Your hands are tied behind your back. You feel that you can't do anything. But I think this relationship has been so heavy. It's been such a challenging relationship for you that you've almost forgotten that you have more than one sense. And there is the light shining above the head, the divine light, the intuition. And of course the feet are not tied. And the swords are definitely forming a cage, but the cage is all at the back. There is a way forward. You need to trust your instinct. You need to dig deep. You need to not trust your outer senses, the touch, the taste, the sight. You need to trust your intuition to find the way out. This is a card of power, but it is power that is not being utilized. It is a power that is feeling trapped and a prisoner almost. And yet it has the power to free itself. It just needs to trust its instincts. And it needs to move forward. There is a path through the dark and murky waters. But if action isn't taken, because swords, of course, like action, they cut through negativity, they cut through difficult mental thoughts, they give clarity. Swords bring clarity, and these swords are anchored in the ground. So it's almost like they saying there's only one way out of this, and you need to find it. You can't stay stuck because the waters are rising. You can't see what you're doing. You can't remove the swords behind you, but you can, with faith, with trust, with intuition, trusting yourself, trusting your own power, trusting the little voices that whisper in your head, I can do this. You can find a way out of this situation. Whatever is making you feel trapped, firepower, you can find a way out. Because this Eight of Swords is, I'm not going to lie to you, it is a challenging card, but it is not a hopeless card. It does offer a way out. Whatever the relationship is, whatever the element of the relationship is that is making you feel trapped, it may not be as bad as you feel. It is a card of conflict. You can see this young man is being attacked by 6 other ones. The bearers of the ones are invisible. It's almost as if he feels as if the other person, he, she, it, a relationship, a parent, a lover, a job, whatever, feels that the dangers are coming at it from all sides, yet it has the higher moral ground. It is on the higher ground. It is fighting from a position of strength. It again has a light to guide it. It is wearing a light tartan. It's wearing yellow of the intellect and blue of the third eye, the throat chakra, the expression. It's more it's not quite the indigo. It's more like the blue of the throat chakra. So this energy the energy in the relationship that is making you feel trapped is not as bad as you think it is. It is perhaps it's fighting out of a defensive position, but the grass is green. It is on the higher ground. It is in a fairly safe and secure position. You need to consider why this energy is making you feel so trapped. And what is it about this energy that makes you feel that there is no way out, that you're being smothered? This card, the combined energies, I think this is an energy of someone who actually loves a fight. As long as it's not too dangerous a fight, as long as it's more like fighting as play. It's not a serious, it's not a fight that is going to end in death, because it's not swords, okay? It's not swords, it's wands. And so there may be a bit of bruising and battering, but the chances are it will never deal a mortal blow. But perhaps whatever this card represents in the relationship, the other element in the relationship doesn't realize how much this love of conflict is beating you down, making you feel trapped, making you feel that you have no way to turn. And these two energies combined creates almost a poverty consciousness. It's a sense that nothing is ever going to go right. There's almost a feeling of not worthy of being loved, that I'm not going to get anything. You can see that this woman is completely at the end of her hand. She's holding her hand out for begging, but she can't even lift her head up to see if somebody's going to help her. And this wounded and this deeply maimed man, now you can see from that fight, he's still strong, but this wounded warrior has lost a leg. He's poverty stricken. He's so ill, and he hasn't even got any strength to help that woman behind him. And this energy has its roots in a feeling of lack of worth, a poverty consciousness, that the universe is only going to give me bad things. And that needs to shift. And it's only you that can shift it. Because this card is saying you have to move out of this dark, trapped feeling, this feeling that nothing is going to happen, nothing is going to come your way. And if you can move out of that, then this energy here is not going to seem so fearsome. It's not going to be so, it's not going to make you feel so trapped and downtrodden and exhausted and weary and lost and not able to burn brightly as a flame. The key element to consider is that we always, and this is a pentacle as well, it's the Page of Pentacles. He is very focused on that bright, shiny new coin, and it is a promise of a new beginning. It is bringing in a new era. It is a new start, but it is baby steps. You can't escape in one giant leap from this almost habitual feeling of being trapped, of being smothered, of not being able to spread your wings and fly, of feeling that nothing is ever going to go your way. You do need to start shifting that perception. The Page of Pentacles is bringing the shiny new coin. It's offering it to you as a new beginning, and reminding you that new beginnings grow best and have the brightest results if it is done step by baby step, because the page is a beginning card. So I'm sorry, Fire Power, this wasn't, I got a feeling that Cinnabar, remember to look up the link I'm going to put in the description, because Cinnabar, I think, it's dragon's blood. It's got something to do with this shifting of belief. I'll put up that information after I finish the reading. But let's have a quick look at, let's get a little bit of oracle advice. Kindly give me a piece of positive, uplifting advice for firepower so that they can have hope and a clear vision and a better understanding of how to move into that new beginning that is offered by the Page of Pentacles. Kindly give me some advice. So firepower, broomstick, you need to do some cleansing. So this is a message that something in your life needs purifying. Because this is swords, I would think that the swords indicate, they cut through dark thoughts, negative thoughts. And this broomstick suggests that something must be swept clean. It is a purification that is needed. It is a cleansing that is needed. It is both the masculine and the feminine, the moon and the sun. And that point of purification comes from where the divine feminine intersects with the divine masculine, where heart intersects with mind, where intuition and imagination intersects with logic and reason. And perhaps you need to take some time to sit back and to think about what belief systems that make you feel that you are not worthy to receive the beautiful gifts and rewards and abundance that the universe has to offer, and that is making you feel trapped in this dark and smothering situation. So let us ask the guides for one final piece of advice. If we could have one final piece of advice for the fire pile. And remember, the relationship can be with another person, as a lover, a parent, a child, an employee, a friend, an employer, or it could be a relationship to something. Perhaps you are holding on to something. It's something that you've invested in, just as we invest our energy in our relationships. Remember that Seven of Swords that is creating this conflict could be anything that you have a relationship with. Kindly give me a final piece of advice for the fire pile. Oh, okay. Thank you. Tender embrace. It's an interesting card. So the message here is that you are worthy of being embraced tenderly. The elephants, of course, are extremely maternal, protective creatures. They are very long-lasting. They carry ancient wisdom within them. And they are very community-orientated. They do well in herds. And this card, this final message from Spirit, is saying to you, Fire Pal, yes, you can burn brightly, and you can still find someone or something that will wrap you in a tender embrace and love you fully, completely, and totally as you are. An elephant, of course, is extremely strong. They can push down trees with their trunks to get to the roots, to get to the leaves, to feed themselves, to nourish themselves. And perhaps another message that this card is bringing you is that you do have the strength and the courage to move forward away from this situation and move towards a tender embrace, even if it just is yourself, giving yourself a pat on the back, giving yourself a hug, and saying, I am worthy of it all. And that fire power is the end of your message. I send it from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings. I wish you so much love. And I look forward to having you join us in the next reading. Welcome to your reading, Water Power. You have this beautiful piece of black kyanite. It's a stunning specimen. Let's move it out of the way and we will get on to shuffling your cards. So we're looking at relationships. And we're going to ask the guides to give us 4 cards that will speak to the relationship status of what you are inquiring about. A relationship can be with a person, a lover, a friend, family member. It can be with a job. You can be having a relationship with an idea. It can be something that you are very attached to. So that is what we're looking at today. Anything that you are attached to in any form of relationship. So kindly give us 4 cards for the water power. 4 cards for the water power. Thank you. And thank you. 4 power. We need another 2 cards for the water power. We need, oh, okay. Oops, there you are. Let's take those 2 cards. They jumped out first. So those 2 cards jumped out first, and we will look at them. So let's see what your cards are. Water power. 2 of Pentacles. Okay. This is the energy that you are bringing, trying to keep everything in balance. The Chariot, that is the energy that everybody else is bringing, whether it is an object, a person, or an idea, or anything that you are having a relationship with, that you are attached to. And the first thing that strikes me about both of these cards, this one is Major Arcana, this one is a Sweet card. Both of them are about balance, about keeping things in balance. We'll go into that in a bit more. These 2 cards, this is the energy you bring in. This is the energy that the other aspect of the relationship brings in. They combine to create this energy. 5 of Swords. It's a bit of a conflict energy. And the key elements to consider is the Queen of Wands. Right, let's have a look. Right, so I said, as I opened these cards, I said they're both about balance. Perhaps that was a bit of an overstatement. This one is definitely about balance and choices. This one is perhaps more about control, controlling different elements. So to keep the Chariot moving forward, the elements have to be kept in balance. So this is the energy that you are bringing into the relationship. It is making you feel that you're walking a tightrope. You're having to balance so many things, almost impossible things. You can see there's a boat flying through the air, across the moon, and here this image is struggling along a tightrope, trying to keep things in balance. It's also a card of having to make choices, but if you choose the one, you have to let go the other, and then you'll lose your balance. So this is a very precarious situation. It's almost a feeling of division. In this relationship, there's quite a lot of tension that you're feeling in this relationship, because you feel you have to keep everything in balance. You have to watch your words, you have to watch where you put your feet, you have to think of the impossible to keep walking forward on this incredibly thin little rope that is stretched across this chasm. And it's a chasm that is unknown because it is hidden behind the clouds. So there's a sense of, if you lose your balance, you could land on soft, fluffy clouds, or you could land on a sharp mountain peak that is hidden by the clouds. And it's the sense of uncertainty, the sense of unknowing, that is bringing in a great feeling of tension, of just having to constantly be walking on eggshells or a tightrope to just keep moving forward. The other side of the relationship, whatever that is a more dominance. It's almost dominating you to the extent that it's adding to the tension of walking along this tightrope, because this is all about control. This may be another aspect of yourself that you feel you have to keep everything under control. Again, there's the sense of uncertainty, of danger, of lurking danger, where here the danger lies in what is beneath the clouds. If you fall off the rope, here the danger lies. You can see the white and the black horse are looking in opposite directions, and the danger lies in, what if I lose control? So there's a sense here of needing of great strength, of great self-discipline, of self-mastery, of almost an overconfidence that that this element will keep things under control. But it's just simply adding to a situation that feels quite tense. The two energies combined, this feeling of walking on the tightrope and this feeling of always having to keep things under control, brings in quite this is a card of conflict. The Five of Swords is, on the surface, it is a card of victory over others, over something. But in actual fact, this is a card that offers alternatives. Sometimes the victory lies in succeeding in the battle. Sometimes the victory lies in defeating somebody else. Sometimes the victory lies in simply giving the swords away and walking away. Walking away. End the battle, and it doesn't matter if the opponent, whatever the opponent is, laughs and gloats, because this is not a sense of a positive victory. He's almost gloating over the loss and the pain of suffering of the others. So sometimes what this card is saying is that some victories are not worth having. And it's important for you to consider that, yes, here you are struggling along, walking the tightrope, walking across this chasm, keeping everything in balance, so tense and nervous, being proud of the fact that you are doing it, that you are managing to keep this, these wildly differing horses, these wildly differing aspects of whatever it is that you are balancing so well. There is an element of pride in that. But this card asks, what is the cost going to be? What is the cost of maintaining that tightrope walk going to be? Is it going to be a hollow victory? Is it going to be a victory that has a huge price to pay for other people? Or is the victory going to come in putting something down and just walking away and creating something new? Because the Queen of Wands is a fiery energy. Wands always suggest new beginnings. The Queen is an energy, you can see there's a black cat there. She has a powerful magic about her. She's a great manifester. It's this extremely creative energy that can make the reality that she wants. So if the choice is made, if the strength that is being expended in keeping two opposing forces on the same path is let go. If there's a different type of victory that is seen, the Queen of Wands has a clean palette. She can create anything. She is a vibrant, fiery, enthusiastic, passionate creator. And she has the capacity and the power to create anything and everything that she wants. But she needs a clean palette to do it. She can paint the picture of her life that she wants, but it has to be on a clean palette with a single focus. Let us see if the oracle cards can give us any further illumination on this relationship, on the status of this relationship, of whatever it is that is keeping you walking such a tightrope water pile. Let us ask the guides to give us some sort of information that can perhaps bring a little bit of clarity, help you see what is making you feel so tense, or just some uplifting words. Kindly give us a card for the water pile. Thank you very much. Heritage. Ooh, that's interesting. Heritage. Maybe the things that you are trying to keep in balance is the past and the present. Maybe that's what's coming through to me now. Perhaps it's wanting to live your own life, but keeping the connection with the past. It's wanting to create new paths, but feeling that you have a loyalty. So take, for example, our traditional religious festivals, whether it's Christmas or Rosh Hashanah or Ramadan or any of the religious festivals. Generations of our family have gathered around the table celebrating these rituals these special days, these holy days, in a certain way. And perhaps that has not suited your soul. Perhaps your soul needs to create new directions with the Queen of Wands here. But because of family love, community, loyalty, whatever, so this relationship could perhaps be with, with like the whole family structure, or with something that you almost feel, sorry, excuse me, I'm going to just have to have some water. It's very dry here after weeks of rain. We had a few days of sunshine, but it sucked up all the water. So this heritage card, this message is saying, yes, we have a certain heritage that we must honor and respect, but traditions should not be prisons. The past should not be a prison. It is a foundation to build and paint new pictures on. And I think that what's creating this tension here, this is almost like the old and the new, the old and the new. And it's creating quite a lot of conflict, because you almost feel that nobody's going to be a winner here. Because if whoever wins, somebody's going to get hurt, somebody's going to have to walk away. And yet there is this longing, there is this desire to create a new path. And this card, this heritage card, is coming in to say, yes, honor your heritage. But remember too, that heritage and traditions are there to provide foundations. Each generation almost has a spiritual calling to evolve beyond the previous generation. We cannot stay stuck in the previous generations' traditions, needs, desires, hopes, dreams, fears, issues. Each generation has a new set of issues that as a collective, that generation has to deal with. And yes, it gives you strength to have the past to lean on, to learn from, to be guided by. But we have to create new directions for ourselves that are more suited to the generation and the life that we need to live. I hope that's clear, Waterpile, because there will be this emotional attachment to the past and to what we've come from. But we as individual souls have to evolve beyond what came before us. We can't, as a species, stay stuck and not evolve. I mean, where would that lead us? So we do need to evolve. And I think that this is saying this trying to evolve, but also trying to cling to the past, is creating this tension. It's creating this sense of you having to be the master charioteer, walking this dangerous path, but trying to keep two completely different things, the horses black and white, trying to keep them in that balance of the yin and yang. And yet, we need to create new directions as well. There's a calling to create our own path, our own direction, and to evolve in the way that is best suited for our generation, for our collective. Let us see if we can get one more card, a final card that may help bring in a little bit of clarity about this, around this issue of trying to keep past and present, or past and future. If you look at that card, I'm looking at it now, past, present, and future. And the present is walking along a tightrope. So how are we going to evolve? How are we going to manage to get across that chasm and walk across that tightrope? So please, guys, give us one more card for the waterfowl so that we can see what the waterfowl can gain from the wisdom of the oracles. Let's see what message has come up. And a merry motive. A merry motive. Let me think about that. This is all about knowing your own motives. This is about understanding what drives you to meet your goals and the momentum that you create. What is the wisdom behind your intentions, the intentions of the Queen of Wands? This motive must be pure. If you want to create a new direction, it must be, if you want to go on a new path that is using the heritage as a foundation, but not as a prison, you're going to have to surrender to a higher power, because you need to know why you are so compelled to create this new path. Are you running away? Do you have a vision? Do you have a belief? What will the results be if you do create this new path? You need to understand that your motive is pure and joyful. You need to know that it is a clear and honest desire to move forward with respect for what has been before, with love for what has been before, but also with a sense of excitement and passion and belief, and knowing that this new path that you are creating is for your highest good and for the highest good of the collective. If you want to create this new path because you're feeling envious or resentful or competitive, or because you feel you haven't got enough, that is not a positive motive. That is not a merry motive. And that then is going to be abandoning the heritage that you should honor for the wrong reasons. And it's extremely important that as you make your way forward into this new path, you need to understand that for some, a victory can mean pain and loss and suffering for others. And if you manage to factor that into the new path that you design and create for yourself, because you do need to move away from this tension of having to try and keep things in balance. I do think there is a strong drive to move away and to find a single path rather than wasting your energy trying to keep stuff in balance. There is a need here to move forward. This chariot wants to just go and win the race. But the motive behind the race, the motive behind wanting to win the race, needs to be clear and pure. And that, I think, is the final message that the guides are saying to you. Meditate on your motives, and then when you know that you are doing it for the right reasons, unleash the horses, and with love and compassion and understanding, move forward into creating your dream. And that water power is your reading, sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings, and I wish you so much love, and I look forward to having you join us in the next reading.